We'll get started. I think for Rachel, it's your first lesson with us. Hansit as well, right? Hansit, you're here for trial. So I'm just going to quickly go through some class rules. I know the regular students must have heard this like many times. Okay, so basically, I think for Rachel, it'd be good if you can turn on your video. That's one. Number two, please mute your microphone. And the reason is very simple because if everybody were to just unmute your microphone, there's going to be a lot of sound at the back. So it's very disruptive. Okay, so if possible, Rachel and Yunchen, please turn on your video. Thank you. Yunchen usually does it. Okay, but probably she's enjoying her fruit juice now. That's why she turned off her video. Well.
Oh, I reconnected.
Oh, you
My
reconnected.
connection is very bad.
Yeah, just now it was really quite bad when you first came in. Yeah, now it's better. Okay. Now, another thing is if you have questions, please just click on the chat function and type it in. If you have something urgent, you can actually just click on the what's that? The reaction button. Okay, so I'm just going to demonstrate it very quickly. So once you click on raise hand function, you will actually be prioritized to the front. And once I see that, I will actually get you to speak up. So you can actually unmute yourself and answer the question or ask questions if you have. Rachel said that her camera is broken. Yes, you will plan to fix it next week. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Unless if you have technical issues. Otherwise, I think it's good to turn on your video. Yeah. Okay, let me lower my hand first. Yep. Okay, of course, if you need to go toilet, please go ahead. Just drop me a text to inform. Okay? Yeah, all in all, just be mindful, be respectful to one another. I think it's very important to practice mindfulness. Okay, it's both for your well-being and also for the well-being of others around you, right? So be mindful about your speech, be mindful about your actions as well. Okay, now we will start with grammar MCQs. Like I said, I've marked your work. All of you did really quite well. Okay, we want do yoga regularly to stay healthy and fit. Okay, so in this case, of course, all these are what we call modal verbs. Okay, different situation will call for different modal verb. Right? So in this case, it depends on if it's a may or may not. It basically suggests that, you have a choice. You may do this. Okay, it's not so imperative. So when it comes to may and versus may and might is actually the past tense of may. Okay, the meaning is quite similar. It's just that one is past tense and one is present tense. So when do we use may and might? May and might basically suggests possibility or even permission. So if let's say you want to ask for permission to go toilet, may I go to the toilet, please? Right? So it's used to express a particular possibility or permission. Okay. But in terms of must is more like an imperative. Imperative means that it sounds like an order, right? When we say must, you must do this. Basically, you're not given much choices. Yeah. So must is something that is imperative. You are obliged to do. Right? Or sometimes must also can mean or express an opinion, okay, or express a strong opinion. Okay, about something. So for example, I said this must be wrong. Okay, your answer must be wrong. So I'm expressing a very strong opinion about something that I feel should be logically correct. Okay. Now, in terms of would actually stands from the word will. Would is basically the past tense of will. Okay. Basically, it indicates more like a consequence. Okay. Would indicates consequence of an imagined event or situation. right? For example, if your teacher say, you would feel bad if you were to bully your friend. So she's quite clear, and she actually indicated the consequence of bullying your friend. Okay, in fact, I think in that case, I think instead of would, we should be using will, because it has not happened yet. Okay, unless you change it into a question, then it will be, would you feel bad? Would you feel bad? Because it is a consequence, and if you were to bully your friend, would you feel bad about it? Okay, so in this case, of course, when we're talking about doing yoga regularly to stay fit and healthy, it seems like it's a declarative sentence. So in this case, it should be we must. Okay, it's quite imperative. We must do it regularly so that we can stay fit and healthy. It's not something that you're given a choice. It's mainly a declarative sentence. You're declaring something. Okay, so we must do yoga regularly to stay healthy and fit. Right? Of course, there are more modal verbs like can, could, shall, should, and all this. Ought to, right? So all these are your modal verbs, and they all actually imply different meaning. Yeah? Any questions with this? Everybody's okay? Let me have a look at your faces. Other than Rachel, because Rachel's video is not working, yeah? Okay, now let's move on to question 2. Yeah, so even more modal. Okay, would, I think we talked about it just now, would basically suggest a consequence. Okay, but in this case, can is also representing possibility. Basically, can is can and could. Could is actually the past tense of can. So can and could means to be able to. Okay, or to be permitted to. Right, you're given permission. You can go to the toilet. You could do better. Okay, you are able to do better, or you are permitted to go to the toilet. Yeah, so in this case, can and could. Now, in terms of should, it's something like must, but I would say in terms of the degree is probably lesser. Okay, if I say you must, it's basically an imperative. You have to do it. You are obliged. Okay, you should is something that is indicate obligation. Okay, it does indicate a little bit of obligation, like your responsibility. You should do your homework. You should. Okay, it indicates obligation, means you're obliged to do your homework. But in terms of the degree, it is more probable. That means probably, you probably should do your homework. Okay. Now, would, as mentioned just now, implies a consequence. Okay, so in this case, my aunt is multilingual. She speak 5 different languages. Which one do you think is the answer? Anyone? Yes, Inchuan?
A.
Very good. Okay, she is multilingual, so you suggest that this is a singular verb. Okay, so in terms of modal verb, we will also choose the one that is, and also this is present tense as well. Okay, so we will also choose a present modal verb. Can. Okay. May and might. Okay, did we go through may and might just now? First question, yes, right? Suggest possibility or permission. Okay, will and would. Okay, would we've gone through as well. Will and would basically suggest consequence. Yeah. So what you like to have dessert? The waiter asked us. Anyone would like to try? Yes, Jerusha.
Would you like to have dessert?
Very good. Thank you so much. Okay, would you like to have dessert? Right. So question indicates consequence as well. Okay, next one. You have never seen a monkey fight like this. Okay, have never has a negative connotation. Right? You have never seen something. So it's negative connotation to it. So in this case, of course, we will have to have a positive connotation over here. So didn't and haven't will be out. Okay. So in this case, should we choose did you or should we choose have you? Liana.
C.
Very good. Have you? Because like I said, it should be negative from what is this? I mean, sorry, not negative. It should be opposite of what is this. So if this is have never, basically means haven't. You haven't. Okay. So in this case, of course, the opposite will be have you. Answer is C. Because have never means it's negative connotation. You have to have a positive one at the back. Are we clear on this? Yeah. Okay, great. Now let's move on to question 5. There's no one. Okay. There is no one. So no means there isn't. There isn't anyone, basically. Okay. So the opposite, like I said, this is considered a negative connotation. So the other one would be, let's try Hansit. If there's no one means there isn't anyone, right? So the opposite of isn't will be
A.
very good. Yeah. So there's no one in the basement. Is there? Right? So opposite, so this is negative, this will have to be positive. Is a positive word, right? Positive connotation. So in this case, it will be is there. Okay, it's not so straightforward because over here they didn't say isn't. They said there's no one. So there's no one actually is a negative connotation. Okay, so the opposite will be a positive one. Yeah. Okay, great. So these are the answers for your grammar MCQ. Any questions for the first component? No. Okay. Rachel, are you okay? Okay, let me see your chat. Rachel, is your speaker not working as well? Microphone? Okay. Only your camera is broken, is it? Okay, right. Okay, we're gonna move on to Comprehension Cloze. We're gonna spend a bit more time on this because I think some of you might have struggled with it. Okay, there is a way around it actually. Comprehension Cloze in terms of like PSLE format, right? There are 15 questions altogether. I think for this one is the shorter version. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Oh, yeah, actually there are 15 questions as well. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah. Okay. So I will say that this passage is relatively easier than those that you will find in PSLE. Yeah, probably because you're in primary 5 now, so they made it slightly easier. Yunshen is like nodding in agreement or disagreement. I'm not too sure what teacher Shirley is saying because do you find it easy? Yeah. Okay. Still, I would think it's relatively easy because of the one thing is because of the nature of the topic. It's about food and digestion, and I'm sure you've learned digestion in primary 4 science or primary 3 science. I think you learned in primary 3 science. So it's still something that is relatable. So in terms of Comprehension Cloze, sometimes it also depends a little bit on your luck because if it's a topic that you are familiar with, most likely you will do better. Okay, so I think in terms of topic wise for this passage, quite simple already because it's something that you should know about. Okay, it's about food and digestion and all. Okay, now another thing is that I would think that the words are relatively simple as well. Okay, so over here, the food, okay, the subject is the food. Okay, the food is the subject. Basically, the is an article, food is a noun, right? So this, in total, this noun phrase is actually your subject. That we, now this word has to go with subject. So some people wrote consume. I think consume can be accepted. I think Yunshen's answer was consume, right? Yeah, that's fine as well because you can consume food. Okay, the suggested answer is someone tap